Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates.
We're back with Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates. Mr. Boraski is our guest tonight, and going into the break, we were kind of talking about the current chemistry of the County Commission. I'd like to get into some issues in particular. One that you really have been on the forefront for some time, and that is the proper distribution of veterans' benefits.
Yes. That's been very important to me. I've been working with the veterans, the VFW, not on the benefit end of it, but working with the veterans for over 10 years now, because I've lived down near the VFW and I would frequent there quite often and got to know all the guys. We've had a change here recently where our service officer resigned. The state stepped up and put a lady in, and she is doing a phenomenal job. The numbers I've seen for her first week alone of contacts were like 157, 67. Big number like
That's great
that.
for a week.
I really look forward to meeting her soon, hopefully next week. I've been out of town a lot. I'm actually going to Ely this afternoon for a water conference in Ely for tomorrow, and then I'll be back. I'll be here over the weekend to work on my agenda, which is pretty good sized. And then Monday, I'm actually running down to Tehachapi with a half a dozen folks to look at a solar project down there. And again, FaceTime. You have to, as a county commissioner, you have to have FaceTime. The one I really don't like is the Washington, D.C. FaceTime, because it just takes so long to get there and come back. But and that's why I do a lot of teleconferences on that. I've been there in person, but to me, I can't justify going there and the cost for a 2 or 3 hour meeting.
Sure.
So again, I have to think of the taxpayers and what little travel budget we have, because the state is so big and we have to travel the state.
Yeah.
So
what do you have right now as far as the challenges at hand for getting veterans within the county, the benefits that they're looking for?
Well, we have so many veterans here that 20% of our population is veterans. That's a big number. If you look 20% of 37,000, that's big numbers. And they're all over the county. There's a large majority of them are here in Pahrump, but they're here, but they're also, some are very difficult to get a hold of. Some of them have that disorder and don't want to be with the people. We've had a few people in town that are mostly church groups that go out and talk to them and try to ease their pain and work with them and try to get them to come in and
They have to
get
entice them to come in to
and get into the involved. The ones that were fortunate enough to be here and be active in the community, I've pushed really hard with our senators, our congressmen, whoever they've been over the last 6 years that I've been in office, and there's been different ones, to try to do more for the veterans. The county commission offered land at the I for a new VA hospital. They rejected that. They said the state and the federal level have been telling us for at least 2 or 3 years now that we're going to build a new hospital. Well, they're about ready to close the one they have, and that's probably going to hurt. I don't know if there's been plans made to.
Do they expect for them to go into the new VA hospital in Clark County?
Well, if we're going to put that burden on our people here, that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
They have to go all the way there.
It's even far when you live in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's very far.
I went to that new hospital for the grand opening, and it took me the better part of 2 hours to get there.
Yeah.
So it's not a quick drive. I
For
know
people
there's
that-
a
people that
shorter
aren't
way to
familiar
do
with
it. Yeah.
You
can cut it down to an hour, and one of the people that worked there said about an hour and 20 minutes. But boy, I'd like to see that route because I couldn't figure it out.
I think it's maybe 10 miles outside of the city of Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's way out in North Las Vegas.
It is far. Once by the race.
If you take 215 all the way around, you go right by it.
Right.
It's huge. It's a beautiful facility. The problem is that for the number of people, the vets we have, we really should have a small hospital here. I was pretty much told by high-level officials that they were going to build one here, but they haven't worked the details out with Washington on appropriating the money.
So the population actually qualifies for a small VA hospital
Yes,
here.
it does.
And that would service the entire county.
With the number of vets we got, yes, it does. Yeah.
Do you find that in talking to these veterans groups that part of the enticing of the people to bring in, they don't actually realize that they don't realize the benefits that they are allowed to receive, but two, that they don't necessarily appreciate the benefits of receiving those benefits? Is it a struggle within the actual recipients themselves?
I don't want, that would be, you need to get a service officer in here and talk to one of them, and I can refer you to a couple of them, because they actually have the hands-on with them. I don't get into that end of it. I'm going to give you a couple of names before I leave today.
Okay.
And get one of those gentlemen to come in. They really, we have 3, 4, maybe 5 gentlemen here that donate their time as service officers. And they put their heart and soul into it. They are great gentlemen, great pillars of this community. Once you hear the names, you'll know. And they really care about their fellow veterans and work really, really hard to take up the slack from the service officer that the county had and now the state one that will be here. They assist.
Right. They assist the actual veterans,
right.
the recipients.
And they have worked with these people, and I can't comment on that. I have no idea what, I have a feeling what it would be like to be a veteran, but I was not allowed to serve. They actually pretty much threw me out of the building, 4F'd me because I didn't have 10 fingers and 10 toes, and that upset me. And I really wish I'd been allowed to serve my country, but I didn't. And I know they've gone through a lot. I know a couple of gentlemen that have that post-traumatic stress syndrome. Actually, his wife wrote a book, Through My Eyes, which is phenomenal to read. I'll see if I can drop it off to you sometime. You'll love it. I read it one day. I didn't put it down. I mean, her experience with her husband and what he went through, to really get a good look at the emotional problems that some of these gentlemen have and have to live with.
Well, mental and emotional issues are very hard because they're not as finite as, for instance, the loss of limb or something like that. So, so switch gears. You also have an interest, and you work, I think, very tightly with the Nye County Coalition, which also does a lot of public service good.
Yeah. I actually sit on 3 subcommittees: Holiday Task Force, Transportation, which we're diligently trying to come up with a way to get some public transportation in Pahrump. It's been very, very challenging and very difficult. The one good thing about that board, and I chair that board, is that the business community is very supportive. And they actually have stepped up and said, we will help fund this, not in huge numbers, but that we will help. And I really haven't got a firm commitment with anybody yet, because I don't have a full plan to put in front of them. I've got a good idea how to structure it. I've met with several organizations. I've been down with RTC in Las Vegas, Civil Rider Organization, and others to see how they run their facilities. This won't be something that the county will run or the town will run. This will probably be subcontracted into a contractor. Hopefully, that's the way I'd like to see it go.
Okay. Well, we're going to take our second commercial break, and we'll talk about a couple of issues right after.
Okay.
Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates.